It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, and the only thing louder than the silence is the pounding in your chest. Not from a nightmare, but from a number: $47.25. That's all that's left in your checking account. Rent is due in 4 days. Your car's check engine light just flickered on this afternoon, and you just remembered your health insurance premium is about to bounce. Meet Alex. Alex is 28, living in a cramped apartment in Austin, working 50 hours a week and doing everything right. Yet, Alex is suffocating. Most people will tell Alex he needs $1 million to be free. They'll tell him to hustle harder, buy crypto, or start a side business. But they're wrong. Alex doesn't need $1 million. Not yet. What Alex needs, what you need, is a psychological break-even point. A specific financial shield that, once built, physically changes the way your brain processes fear. Welcome to the $10,000 rule. In the next 2 hours, we are going to deconstruct the most important milestone of your life. We will look at why $10,000 is more powerful than $1 million, how it rewires your biology, and why it is the ultimate fuck you fund that grants you the superpower of saying no. If you want to understand why you're stuck in the rat race, you need to see what's happening inside Alex's brain. The biology of being broke. To understand the power of $10,000, we first have to understand the tragedy of zero. In 2023, a study by the Federal Reserve revealed a staggering truth. 37% of American adults could not cover an unexpected $400 expense with cash or its equivalent. For these millions of people, life isn't a journey, it's a minefield. When you live in this state, your brain undergoes a process called cognitive tunneling. Imagine you're driving through a dark tunnel. You can only see the few feet of road directly in front of your headlights. You can't see the scenery, you can't see the exit, and you certainly can't plan for the journey ahead. You are purely in survival mode. Biologically, this is a disaster. When Alex worries about his rent, his body floods with cortisol, the stress hormone. In short bursts, cortisol saves your life from a predator. But when it's chronic, when it's every day, every month, it literally erodes your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, willpower, and complex decision-making. Researchers at Harvard and Princeton found that the mental tax of being poor is equivalent to losing 13 IQ points. Think about that. Poverty doesn't just make your life harder, it makes you less capable of solving the very problems that keep you poor. You aren't lazy, you are cognitively overloaded. When Alex stands in the grocery aisle, agonizing over a $5 box of cereal versus a $3 one, he is burning the same mental energy an architect uses to design a skyscraper. By the time he gets home, his willpower battery is dead. This is why, after a long day of financial stress, Alex orders a $20 pizza he can't afford instead of cooking. It's not a character flaw. It's a biological collapse. But what happens when we introduce the shield? What happens when that account balance hits $10,000? The scarcity trap and decision fatigue. Let's go back to that grocery store aisle with Alex. He's holding 2 jars of peanut butter. One is $4.99, the other is $3.50. To a wealthy person, this choice doesn't exist. They grab the one they like and move on. Their mental bandwidth remains at 100%. But for Alex, this is a mathematical battlefield. He is calculating, if I save $1.49 here, does that mean I can afford the bus fare on Thursday? Or should I put it toward the late fee on my electric bill? This is what Sendil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir call the bandwidth tax. When your mind is preoccupied with scarcity, you lose the ability to think about the future. You are trapped in the now. This is the scarcity trap. In the United States, the system is designed to punish those in the trap. Consider the overdraft fee. In 2022 alone, American banks raked in over $7.7 billion in overdraft fees. Who paid them? Not the millionaires. It was the people like Alex. People whose accounts dipped to -$5 because they forgot a Netflix subscription was due. The bank punishes you for being poor by making you even poorer. This creates a phenomenon called decision fatigue. By 2 p.m., Alex has made 50 small, agonizing financial decisions. His brain is exhausted. So, when an opportunity arises, perhaps a free online course to learn coding or an invite to a networking event, Alex says no. Not because he isn't ambitious, but because his brain literally doesn't have the energy left to process opportunity. He is stuck in a cycle of urgent versus important. Poverty forces you to deal with the urgent, the rent today, while completely ignoring the important, the career growth for next year. Without a shield, Alex isn't just losing money, he is losing his future. Why $10,000? The mathematics of peace. You might be asking, why $10,000? Why not $1,000? Or why not wait until I have $100,000? There is a specific mathematical reason why $10,000 is the golden threshold in the U.S. economy. A $1,000 emergency fund, the kind often recommended by basic finance gurus, is a starter shield. It covers a flat tire. It covers a broken microwave. But in 2024, $1,000 is no longer enough to stop a catastrophe. The average cost of a transmission repair in America? $3,000 to $5,000. The average deductible for an ER visit? $1,500 to $4,000. The average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in a mid-tier U.S. city? $1,500. If Alex only has $1,000 and his car breaks down, he is still forced to use a credit card with 24% interest. He is still back in the trap. But $10,000 changes the physics of the problem. For a single person like Alex, $10,000 represents roughly 4 months of survival. Rent and utilities, $1,800 per month times 4 equals $7,200. Groceries and essentials, $500 per month times 4 equals $2,000. Emergency buffer, $800. At $10,000, Alex achieves something called low-level immunity. When the check engine light comes on now, Alex doesn't feel a surge of cortisol. He doesn't lose 13 IQ points. Instead, he feels a slight annoyance. He thinks, that's $800 I didn't want to spend, but the money is there. I'll fix it on Saturday. He goes back to sleep. He stays at 100% mental bandwidth. But the real magic isn't just about car repairs, it's about time. In the U.S. job market, the average time it takes to find a new quality job is roughly 10 to 12 weeks. If you have zero savings, you have to take the first job that says yes, even if it's a toxic environment with no growth. You are a wage slave to your own bills. With $10,000, Alex has 16 weeks of life oxygen. He can turn down a bad offer. He can wait for the right offer. $10,000 is the difference between being a beggar and being a partner in the economy. The fuck you fund and power dynamics. There is a term in the underground world of personal finance that your HR department hopes you never learn. It's called the fuck you fund. It sounds crude, but its mathematical purpose is divine. Let's look at Alex again. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Alex's boss, a man who measures his self-worth by how much he can overwork his staff, walks into Alex's cubicle. He drops a stack of files and says, I need this finished by tomorrow morning. You'll need to stay until midnight. No, there's no overtime pay. We're a family here, remember? Old Alex, the Alex from Chapter 1 with $47 in his bank account, would feel a cold pit in his stomach. He would swallow his pride, apologize to his girlfriend for canceling dinner, and stay until midnight. Why? Because if he says no and gets fired, he is homeless in 30 days. His silence isn't loyalty, it's hostage-taking. New Alex, the Alex with $10,000, looks at the same boss and something incredible happens. His heart rate doesn't increase. until his palms don't sweat. He calculates $10,000 is 16 weeks of freedom. This project is worth exactly $0 to my future. He looks his boss in the eye and says, I'm afraid I can't do that. I have plans this evening. I can prioritize this first thing tomorrow morning, or we can discuss hiring an assistant to handle the overflow. The boss is stunned. He senses something has changed. He can't put his finger on it, but Alex no longer smells like desperation. He smells like leverage. This is the hidden physics of the $10,000 milestone. Power in the workplace is rarely about who is the smartest. It's about who can afford to walk out the door. When you have $10,000, you are no longer a beggar for a paycheck. You are a voluntary participant in a contract. The moment you can say no is the moment you truly become a free man. Now, the invisible shield. A tale of two paths. To truly understand the invisible shield, we need to witness a controlled experiment. Let's introduce Sarah. Sarah works in the same office as Alex. She earns the same $55,000 a year. But Sarah lives the standard American life. She has a $500 per month car payment for a SUV she doesn't need, a $150 per month gym membership she rarely uses, and $8,000 in credit card debt from a vacation to Tulum that she needed to escape the stress of work. Sarah's savings, $0. In October, the company announces a restructuring. Both Alex and Sarah are laid off with 2 weeks of severance. Watch the divergence. Sarah enters a state of absolute clinical panic. Her cortisol levels skyrocket. She cannot sleep. Because she needs money immediately, she spends 12 hours a day applying for every single job on LinkedIn. She takes the first interview she gets, a soul-crushing sales job with a 40-minute longer commute and a lower base salary. She accepts it within 24 hours because the urgent has consumed her life. Alex, on the other hand, does something radical. He takes the first week off. He goes for long walks. He catches up on sleep. He realizes that with his $10,000 plus his severance, he has nearly 5 months to find his next move. Instead of applying for 100 jobs, he spends 2 weeks researching the top 3 companies in his field. He reaches out to a mentor. He spends $200 on a specialized certification. In month 2, he lands an interview for a senior analyst position. Because he isn't desperate, he negotiates his starting salary $15,000 higher than the initial offer. Now, if the $10,000 shield didn't just save Alex from a car repair, it literally bought him a higher-tier life. Sarah is now trapped in a worse job, with more stress and even less time to save. Alex is on a trajectory toward his first $100,000. The same catastrophe happened to both, but for Sarah, it was a life sentence. For Alex, it was a sabbatical. The road to $10,000, building the automated fortress. Now let's talk about the how. If you look at the financial gurus on late-night TV, they'll tell Alex to stop buying $5 lattes. They'll tell him to cut coupons and live like a monk. But they are missing the point. You don't save your way to $10,000 by suffering. You do it by architecting. In a high-inflation U.S. economy, willpower is a finite resource. If Alex has to choose to save money every single day, he will eventually fail. His willpower battery will run out. Instead, Alex builds an automated fortress. He follows the 80-20 rule of expenses. In the U.S., 3 categories eat 70% of your income: housing, transportation, and food. Alex doesn't focus on the $5 latte. He focuses on the $500 mistake. He negotiates his internet bill. He switches to a high-yield savings account, HYSA, paying 4.5% interest instead of the 0.01% his big bank offers. Most importantly, he sets up a direct deposit. Before Alex even sees his paycheck, $200 is automatically moved into his shield fund. It's invisible. It's non-negotiable. By making the decision once, Alex removes the need to be disciplined every day. He has automated his freedom, but there's a psychological hurdle. The plateau. Saving the first $1,000 feels like a mountain, and saving from $5,000 to $10,000 feels like a marathon. This is where most people quit. They see the $5,000 and think, I could buy a really nice TV and a vacation with this. To survive the plateau, Alex uses visual anchoring. He doesn't see dollars, he sees days of freedom. That $5,000 isn't a jet ski, it's 60 days where no one can tell him what to do. When you stop measuring money in stuff and start measuring it in time, the road to $10,000 becomes an addiction rather than a chore. Social power and the confidence magnet. Something strange starts to happen to Alex as his balance crosses the $8,000 mark. It's not just in his head, it's in his body. Sociologists call this the security aura. When you have $0, you walk into a room looking for approval. You need the job, you need the client, and you need the person you're dating to like you because you are subconsciously seeking a rescuer. This desperation is a scent. People can smell it. But Alex walks differently now. When he goes to a networking event, he isn't hunting for a lead. He is observing. Because he doesn't need a deal today to pay rent tomorrow, his body language is relaxed. His eye contact is steady. He speaks 20% slower. In the world of high-stakes negotiations, silence is power. Because Alex has $10,000 in the bank, he is comfortable with silence. He can state his price and wait. He doesn't feel the urge to oversell or plead. This creates a confidence paradox. The less you need the money, the more people want to give it to you. This extends to Alex's personal life. His relationships become healthier. Why? Because he is no longer using his partner as a financial crutch. Arguments about who spent what disappear. He has the mental space to be present, to be kind, and to be curious about others. $10,000 didn't just buy Alex a car repair, it bought him a new social tier. He has graduated from the survival class to the strategic class. He has become a magnet for opportunities because he is no longer a burden to himself. The final boss. Lifestyle creep and the investment bridge. Alex has reached the mountaintop. He looks at his banking app and sees it. $10,000. For the first time in his life, he feels a sense of quiet. The midnight sweats are gone. But as Alex stands on this new plateau, a new enemy emerges. It's invisible, it's seductive, and it has destroyed more fortunes than the stock market ever could. And it's called lifestyle creep. In the US, the moment you start doing well, the world notices. Suddenly, Alex's 2015 Toyota starts to look a bit old compared to his coworker's new Tesla. His $1,800 apartment feels cramped. The marketing algorithms on his phone shift. They no longer show him save money on groceries ads. Instead, they show him luxury watches, premium subscriptions, and first-class upgrades. The lifestyle creep is a biological trap. Your brain's dopamine receptors adjust to your new income. To get the same high you used to get from a $10 pizza, you now need a $100 steak. If Alex isn't careful, his $10,000 shield will vanish into a cloud of better stuff. How does Alex defeat the final boss? He learns the difference between standard of living and quality of life. Standard of living is the stuff you buy. Quality of life is the freedom you have. Alex decides to keep his 2015 Toyota. He decides to stay in his apartment for one more year. Why? Because he has discovered the investment bridge. When you have $0, you work for money. When you have $10,000, money begins its first tiny shift toward working for you. In a high-yield savings account, HYSA at 5%, that $10,000 earns $500 a year for doing absolutely nothing. That's a free month of groceries. It's a dividend of peace. This is the bridge to the next level, the $100,000 milestone. $10,000 is the seed. $100,000 is the tree. Once Alex understands that his $10,000 is a financial soldier that fights for his freedom 24/7, he no longer wants to spend it on a new iPhone. He wants to send more soldiers to the front line. The conclusion. The transformed self. We started this 2-hour journey with a man who couldn't breathe. We started with Alex, staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., paralyzed by a $400 emergency. If you've watched until this final minute, you realize that this was never really about the $10,000. The money is just a scoreboard. The real transformation happened inside Alex's prefrontal cortex. He didn't just save money, he rebuilt his character. He cultivated discipline in a world of instant gratification. He chose future Alex over current Alex. By reaching $10,000, Alex didn't just buy a car repair or a few months of rent. He bought the power of agency. He is no longer a leaf blown by the winds of the economy. He is the wind. He walks into rooms with his head held high. He speaks with the calm authority of a man who knows he is okay. He is a better son, a better partner, and a more creative professional because his brain is no longer a battlefield of survival. So here is your challenge. The system, the banks, the advertisers, the standard American life wants you to stay at zero. They want you stressed because stressed people are easier to control and easier to sell to. Break the cycle. Build the shield. Reach your first $10,000. Not because you want to be rich, but because you deserve to be free. Your journey starts with the first dollar. Your future self is waiting for you at the milestone. Will you show up?